ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Thank you, Johnny Olson. Thanks. I knew it was going to happen to me someday. You know, I was standing back there by the camera thinking, gee, that's pretty music. Then I looked at the monitor and there was nobody coming out. And I realized that was supposed to be me. That's when I started walking. Nice to be here. I'll have to attend this show sometime. I hear it's good. We have got a guest here. Our first guest is somebody that every lady in the audience and you there at home ought to get down on your knees to. He is a scientist who is responsible for the discovery and the development of one of the best known and most versatile man-made materials of our time. Now, we'll meet this brilliant gentleman as he tries to fool you and our panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Bill Cullen. Peggy Cass. Mark Goodson. And the wife of the Attorney General of the United States, Martha Mitchell.
Martha, it's too bad we're not taking a poll today. You got friends out there, I'll tell you that. Listen to the whoop-de-doo.
I'm thrilled to death.
Good, and Mark Goodson is back, and we'll be with the rest of the week, and Peggy and Bill. And now, before we meet our first guest, I would like to show you something.
Uh-huh.
We have a model backstage. Will the model come out here, please?
Ooh, model.
Poor fella.
Oh, God.
He is sweltering. Now, the poor unfortunate soul who is inside of that spacesuit at this moment is Dick Ellis, and he is from ILC Industries, the makers of the suit. Now, you won't believe that, but certain portions of the suit that he is wearing and this frying pan that I'm holding have something in common.
Teflon.
What?
Teflon.
Teflon.
They won't
right.
stick to the suit.
The what?
They won't stick to the suit. When they take the suit off, it comes right off real. No?
You just talk to Mrs. Mitchell if
All
you,
right, I'll be
you
glad.
just do
Certainly
that.
not getting anywhere with you, I'll tell you.
Certainly, the thing they have in common is Teflon. The non-stick surface on this pan and on vital parts of the spacesuit are both made of Teflon. And thank you very much, Mr. Ellis. We're grateful to you for getting into that crazy suit here on To Tell the Truth. It's that way. And our first guest on To Tell the Truth, believe it or not, is the man who invented Teflon. And let's meet him right now.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Roy Plunkett.
Number two.
My name is Roy Plunkett.
Number three.
My name is Roy Plunkett.
Well, they all seem to be quite sure of it. Only two of them, of course, are wrong. One of them is right. Here's the story. It goes like this. I, Roy Plunkett, discovered Teflon. It all happened quite by accident. I was doing research to try and find a new gas to use for refrigeration. One day, when examining my research material, I discovered that the gas had changed form and had become solid material. That material later became known as Teflon. At first, Teflon was used strictly for industrial purposes. Not until the non-stick frying pan came on the market did the average housewife hear the name Teflon. Today, this plastic plays an important role in various scientific innovations. Vital parts of the Apollo space program utilize Teflon, and surgeons use Teflon as a man-made substance to replace faulty valves in the heart of a diseased aorta. Signed, Roy Plunkett. And we'll begin questioning our three Roy Plunketts as soon as we butter the sponsor's toast for a bit. Now, all three of these gentlemen claim to be Roy Plunkett, the man who developed Teflon. And let's start with the prominent housewife, Mrs. Martha Mitchell.
Number two, I've never used Teflon because when it first came out, there were reports that it was dangerous, that it would poison you. Did you ever hear that?
No, there's no truth to that whatsoever.
Number one, how did that report get out?
Well, I'm sure. I don't know.
Number 3, what is your name?
Roy Plunkett.
Number 2, what makes it scratch so?
Well, if you use a metal material against it, you may be able to separate it from the pot or the pan or whatever it's adhered to.
In other words, you're supposed to use a Teflon tool when you're working with it.
Correct. There's a special spatula.
Well, that's what number 2 says, Martha. I don't know whether that's the right one or not. We're going to go on down to Mark Goodson.
I can just see the rumor spreading now that the wife of the Attorney General has accused Teflon of being poisonous, but it's not true. Number 3, what does the name Teflon mean? Where did it come from?
It comes from the material from which it is made, tetrafluoroethylene. It's a contraction with the adding of the O-N on the end.
Number 1, who owns Teflon?
It's a DuPont patent. It was originally started by DuPont.
Number 2, do you get paid royalties as the inventor?
No.
You don't?
No.
Or do you work for DuPont?
I work for DuPont.
You get a salary for this?
Yes, I do.
Number 3, what products do you now envision will come out of Teflon in the future?
Well, there's a lot of products made from Teflon in the electrical, chemical, and space industries. One of the newest uses is heat exchanger tubes and handling very corrosive materials.
I see. Number 2, was this discovery of Teflon just serendipity, an accident?
It was an accident, yes. Yes. We were looking for it.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go to Peggy Cass.
Number 1, what is DuPont's slogan?
Better things, chemistry.
Thank you. Number 2, it says here that they use Teflon for disease valves and aorta operations, but now, is it not true that they use something else more than Teflon?
There are other plastic materials used.
Well, now, isn't Dacron actually the most common one used for those?
Well, we're still experimenting with the Teflon material.
In other words, they're not really putting it into real hearts yet?
Not yet, really. It's
I
an
see.
experiment.
Thank you. Now, number 3, it says you should use a Teflon spatula, but isn't it possible to use other materials on Teflon without hurting it?
Yes. You can use any soft nylon.
Thank you. Well, wood, too.
Wood.
I use wood. Number 2, you don't have to use grease with Teflon, right?
Well, not necessarily, no. You're talking about frying.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. It won't adhere to. Nothing will stick.
Thank you. Number 1, when you work for DuPont and you invent something marvelous like Teflon, isn't it true that DuPont says, thanks a lot, baby, and they keep the patent and maybe they give you a box of chocolates, or is that not true?
Well, it's basically true. I work for DuPont and signed an agreement when I first go with them.
I guess you got to figure all the stuff that didn't work out, you know. That all goes into the overhead. Let's go to Bill Cullen.
Most of those big companies work like that. You work under contract. Number 1, if I may pursue what interests me, where is Teflon utilized in that spacesuit? That's a moonwalk suit that we saw there.
Yes, it is. The outside layer of fabric, it's a multi-fabric, I think 26 pieces, but the outside layer is made of fiberglass. And because of the nature of Teflon, its inertability and its slipperiness, they cover the fiberglass with a Teflon coating so that it doesn't rub and fray.
Oh, so actually it's a protective, an outer protective
It's
for
the
the
outside coating, that's correct.
Number 2, just because, out of curiosity, how much does that suit that man was wearing weigh? I hate to pursue that, but I find that very
It's a very heavy suit. As you noticed, he was quite worn down when he came out. I would say it runs around 120 pounds.
That's because our stage is much heavier than the moon, I am told.
Our stage is hotter than the inside of a Russian horse doctor's valise, I'll tell you that.
You gave me quite a start there.
But in any event, we must now decide which one we think it is. And what do you think? Do you think it's number 1? Or do you think it's number 2? Or do you think it's number 3? If you were producing the show, it would cost you $50 for each wrong guess, $500 if all the guesses are wrong. And Martha Mitchell, have you made up your mind?
Well, this was rather difficult. I voted for number 1. They all look rather official to me, and it's hard for me to say, so I'm really guessing.
On a woman's intuition, which you seem to have a lot.
Intuition.
All righty, we got a 1 for a 1. We go down to Mark Goodson.
On the basis of the way the formula was reeled off, and also if I were casting a movie, I would cast him as the inventor, I voted for number 3.
And Peggy.
Well, I used to work for DuPont, and number 1 said it's better things through chemistry, but it isn't. It's better living through chemistry. And they gave me my first set of Teflon pants, which I find marvelous. But number 3, he's so technical, so I voted for him.
So we got 2 3s and a 1, and what's Bill Cullen going to do?
Well, I just might have been trapped here, as it were. All the time number 3 was coming up with those erudite answers, number 1 was shaking his head like saying, that's right. And then number 2 would tell me number 1 would shake his head and say, that's right. So I voted for number 1, and I like to shake my head, and I think I'm wrong. That's...
Well, this is absolutely fascinating because yesterday, which was Martha Mitchell's first day, she was going along with you.
And now I'm going with her.
Now you're going with her, huh? All right, we have adversaries. We have 2 3s and 2 1s. And who's right, Bill and Martha, or is it Mark and Peggy? Or are you right at home? Maybe it's a whole different person. Will the real Roy Plunkett please stand up?
Oh, Lord, look out
here. Well, there's something.
Peggy?
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Roy. Number 1 with two wrong votes. You look happy. What is your real name, sir? What do you do?
My name is Brian Carter, and I'm an insurance broker with the Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company.
Number 2, you could have fooled me. Sorry about that. What is your real name? What do you do?
My name is John Wisner. I'm a sales manager for Pauly Cheese Company, a division of Swift & Company.
Roy, I went to the boat show not long ago and noticed that some of the companies are now using Teflon propellers. What is the improvement over bronze there?
Well, they're probably using Teflon coating on the outside of the propeller. I doubt if they're using a total Teflon propeller. It's probably for corrosion resistance.
Oh, I see. It doesn't make the boat go any faster.
Number 1 shaking his head again.
It slips through the water faster.
Oh, well, that has a lot to do with it then.
Listen,
well, in any event, yes, Peggy.
I want to thank you for Teflon because you don't ever have to, it's so easy to clean the pans. I mean, my congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm with you.
Thank you, Roy Plunkett, and thank your friends for being here with us on To Tell the Truth. Now, panel, in case any of you think that you make a tough buck, that you have a hard way of life, I want you to watch some really action-packed film down here. How would you like to do this for a living? Take a look at this. Now, this is indoor, which is much tougher than outdoors because if you run off the track, buddy, you got no place to go except up on those hard seats. Look, number 1 almost went, or whoever that is, no, not number 1, whoever it is in the white suit. Also very hard on your shoe leather. They should wear Teflon shoes. Look, there goes one spinning out. Hope nobody runs into it. And there goes another spill all over the track. And that is a tough way to make a living, my friends. Now watch this. There goes another one spinning out. Well, all right. Now, in the thick of that pack was motorcycle demon Sam Dunn. And we'll meet Sam right after we have a few words from you-know-who. Well, as the panel no doubt noticed, we have brought Sam Dunn's motorcycle out on the stage, a racy-looking vehicle. So now let us meet Speedy Sam Dunn.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Sam Dunn.
Number 2.
My name is Sam Dunn.
Number 3.
My name is Sam Dunn.
Crazy, Sam. And here is Sam Dunn's cycling saga as follows. I, Sam Dunn, am a professional motorcycle racer. I'm the first woman to zoom straight up the side of a 2,500-foot mountain, aptly named the Matterhorn. Few women have the daredevil spirit to ride along with me, and I can't say as I blame them. I've already been hit by 3 cars and have driven off 5 cliffs. I compete mostly against men. In fact, at the first indoor motorcycling event ever held in New York City, the Yamaha Silver Cup, I had hoped to compete against 400 men. However, at the last moment, I was banned from the track. Signed, Sam Dunn. And I know that business of banning a girl from the track is going to steam Peggy Cass up, so I might as well start with you, Peggy.
I don't care whether she got, I mean, it's too bad. Number 2, did you call Women's Lib and complain?
No, I didn't.
Thank you. Number 1, are you really called Sam, or have you got another name?
That's my name.
You were christened Sam?
I was christened Sam.
That's like a boy named Sue.
That's right.
Well, number 3, In the Yamaha 400, did you have to drive a Yamaha?
No.
You could, but Yamaha put up the money for it?
Yes, this was sponsored by Yamaha.
And now, why was it called 400? Number 2.
Because it's 400 miles.
400 miles in the Madison Square Garden? Boy, you'd be seasick. Number 1, were the floors still waxed on the Yamaha 400, or did they treat them differently?
No, they had already had some pre-racing before the event last evening.
Thank you.
I have personally walked 400 miles inside the garden just trying to find my seat. You ever tried that? Bill Cullen?
Do 250 looking for the men's room. Number 3, why do you think it's called the 400?
It's not called the 400.
Well, that certainly explains that, doesn't it? Wait till I... Just a second here. Stop the clock until I make thing motorcycle... Against 400 men, that's right. Number 1, what makes a track non-slippery? Admittedly, that concrete at the garden is slippery to go around in a motorcycle. When does it get non-slippery?
They have a treatment that they use before we get out on the track.
Does the rubber ever help number 3 from preceding races?
Yes, it does.
What do you wear on your left foot, number 1?
I wear a boot.
And what do you wear, number 1, on the bottom of your boot, on your left foot?
Wax.
Number 3, what do you wear on the bottom of your boot?
A sock with tape.
And when you're racing outside in a dirt track, number 3, what do you wear inside on the bottom of your left foot, which is your turn foot, is it not?
I just wear my regular boot.
Oh, Bill, you know a lot about that.
I've fallen off a lot of motorcycles in my day.
Martha, I know you're a motorcycle rider from way back.
Oh, yes. Scared to death of them.
Ask anything you'd like to ask. What do you want to know?
Well, the first question that comes to mind, I'd like to ask 3. How did she decide to get into this daredevil operation?
I enjoy sports.
And number 2, what does your mother think about such a thing?
She doesn't mind. She likes me competing with men.
And
Well, to each his own, Martha.
Yeah, everybody should have a hobby, I think. Yeah.
do you intend to do this longer, number 1?
You bet, as long as I can stay alive.
Number 3?
And that takes us down to Mark Goodson, please.
Number 3, I'm curious to know something. You like danger.
Yes.
Are you married?
Divorced.
That was danger.
Was your husband a motorcyclist?
He's the one who taught me everything I know.
He taught you everything you know, and then you got
Right.
rid of him. I see. It's a matter of competition. Number 1, do you like men who are athletic and also like danger like yourself?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
Number 2, what's the fastest you've ever gone on a motorcycle?
115 miles.
100 and what?
15 miles.
An hour. Number 3, where's the Matterhorn?
It's at Irvine, California.
They just call it the Matterhorn. It's not really...
All righty, that's it. On the basis of what we've learned, we must decide as to whether we think it's number 1, or number 2, or number 3, and we mark our ballots accordingly. $50 is what we pay for a wrong vote, $500 if we stump the panel completely, and Peggy Cass begins.
Well, since I was so dumb as to say it was called the 400, and 2 said it was 400 miles, that lets her out. And number 1, I don't know. Number 3 seems to be the kind of a girl that really would race, and really, she's a competitor.
Okay, so we got 1-3 showing, and Bill Cullen?
Yeah, 2 took care of it with that 400 miles because if I recall, that garden is a 10-lap track to the mile.
To the mile.
That's 4,000 times around. They'd still be racing, you know, if they had to do that. I don't know why I didn't vote for number 1. I wanted number 3 to get that steel bottom on her left foot, which you wear outside. She never did do it. And just for that, I voted for her. I'll show her. Anyway, I voted for number 3.
All right, we got 2 3s. And Martha Mitchell, what do you think?
I'm right in there with the 3s again.
You're going along with the bunch. Okay, we have either a disaster or a triumph shaping up here. Mark Goodson, how are you going to go?
Well, I'm going to do something slightly illegal. I'm absolutely positive it's number 3 because she looks like somebody who'd hit you right in the head with a motorcycle if you're gonna. But I'd like him to win some money, so I'm going to vote for number 2.
Oh, well, he's the boss.
you're the boss.
Well, it's your money, Mark.
We'll see what happens. Maybe if I'm wrong, wouldn't that be terrible?
Because then you would have blown a big amount of money.
That's right.
He fixed
Oh,
it.
all right, so he has cast a benevolent vote for number 2, and there are 3 other kind of votes, and here's the way it goes. Will the real Sam Dunn please stand up? Yeah! Thank you, Sam. Number one, you're cute as a bug's ear, as we used to say in Baltimore. What is your real name, and what do you do?
Gary, my name is Beth Ward, and I'm from Martha Mitchell's home state, Arkansas. I am a tour director for a theme park in northern Arkansas called Dog Patch USA, and I also do television commercials.
Good luck to you. And number two, who got a benevolent vote from the boss. What is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Carolyn Russin, and I'm a teacher at John Robert Powers Finishing School in White Plains, New York.
And Sam, we don't have time for any more questions, but I don't want to miss this last thing because you've got to explain it. We saw a glimpse of her earlier in action. Well, now here we've got the shortest piece of film ever on record, and it shows her not in action, but in action, so to speak. Now, Paul, anytime now, this only takes 3 or 4 seconds. Watch it now. Here it comes now. Watch fast. Wink! Sam, what happened?
It's the usual thing for me. I always do.
You decide not to race that day, and you let the
Put on an exhibition instead of a race.
Well, it's a charming piece of film. I hope you recovered.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you very much for being with us, as well as your friends here on To Tell the Truth.
In addition to the cash awards, our first team of challengers will receive for the lady in his life exquisite golden tassel jewelry by Sarah Coventry. A necklace with golden tone chains converts to a bracelet and matching earrings, all designed by Sarah Coventry. Our second team will receive Holiday Magic Cosmetics to make you look lovely naturally, including strawberry frappe for your skin and for your eyes, Magilash, all from Holiday Magic.
It's impolite to count. You're not supposed to keep score, but so far Martha Mitchell on the week is still batting 500, which is pretty darn good. We'll see how we all do tomorrow come the same time.
All right.
Panel?
Transportation and other considerations provided by Chevrolet, featuring the 1971 Chevelle, America's most popular mid-size car, new bumpers and grills, same solid, dependable performance at a Chevrolet price. Hotel accommodations, courtesy of the luxurious Park Sheraton Hotel, home of the famous Mermaid Room, right in the heart of Manhattan and convenient to everything. Prizes or product mentions were furnished and or paid for by the manufacturers or suppliers of products or services identified on this program. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Taubman production.